The goal of this video is to provide guidance on proper mounting of TB Woods Duraflex couplings. The Duraflex coupling consists of 4 key parts. There are 2 hubs and a bonded urethane and steel element that's split into 2 halves that connect the 2 hubs. Finally, there's a packet of fasteners that's specifically designed for use with Duraflex. Where there is a need, a spacer element is available to address wider distances between shaft ends. The spacer element has several hole sets to compensate for various distances between shaft ends. Larger size units have additional sets of holes for added mounting flexibility. For rotational stability, high-speed rings are provided with the spacer elements up to size 10 and are an option for larger sizes. Assembling a Duraflex coupling is quite easy. We start by simply sliding the 2 hubs onto their respective shafts and installing a key into each one. In the installation instructions are shown the proper torque values for the set screws depending upon unit size. We're assembling a size 3 and therefore we're going to use a torque wrench set for 7 foot-pounds of torque. Before mounting the element halves, now is the time to confirm shaft alignment. Refer to page 2 of the installation instructions for these steps. To check the angular misalignment, you're going to need a caliper or a micrometer. Measure the distance from the back of the rib of one hub to the back of the rib on the other. Move the caliper around the unit to check at multiple points around the hub. The distance between the maximum and minimum values is called the angular inch gap. Check the angular inch gap against the chart and the installation instructions and align the equipment to the best degree possible. Once you have addressed angular misalignment, you'll need to address parallel misalignment. Place the flat of a straight edge on the flat side of the coupling across both the hubs. There should be no gap between the straight edge and the hubs. Try this at multiple points around the coupling, just as you did when checking the angular misalignment. Where there's a gap between the straight edge and the hubs, find and measure the point with the greatest gap to determine the amount of parallel misalignment. Use the chart in the installation instructions to determine how much parallel misalignment gap you have. For our size 3, we can allow up to a 1/16 of an inch when there's no angular misalignment, down to 0 parallel misalignment when there's 4 degrees of angular misalignment. If needed, realign the shafts. Where appropriate, use shims or spacers to elevate the equipment to the proper heights. The misalignment tolerances are allowable limits. For the best coupling and equipment performance in life, misalignment values of 0 are really recommended. Once you have adjusted the shaft alignment, recheck at the coupling to ensure the issue has been resolved. Once the 2 shafts are properly aligned, we'll attach the 2 elements to the hubs. It is important to use the fasteners supplied. They have a serrated shoulder and a chemical lock patch to ensure proper fastener retention. Torque the fasteners to the values shown in the installation instructions. We're using a size 3 and therefore need 17 foot-pounds of torque. Use a torque wrench to ensure proper tightness. Once you have properly aligned the shafts and fully tightened the fasteners, your Duraflex coupling is properly installed and ready for use.